I'm Dr. Tiffany Crutcher. I am a descendant of the Tulsa Race Massacre of 1921. I am a member of the Black community of Tulsa, and I stand here today in solidarity with many other community members and descendants and representatives of our 3 known living survivors. And we have one simple message today. We stand here before you with one voice, as one community, as we approach the May 2nd court date, where we get the opportunity to argue against the City of Tulsa's motion to dismiss our lawsuit. And I would be remiss if I didn't just acknowledge so many who's fought the good fight for justice, for repair, for respect, for restitution. Over the years, starting with the survivors who were resilient, who rebuilt after racial terror plagued this very land that we're standing. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the late Senator Maxine Horner and Representative Don Ross, who fought rigorously for this community. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Professor Charles Ogletree, who I had the privilege of checking in on earlier this week, where I had the opportunity to talk to his wife and to his daughter, and I get emotional because they shared with me that his Alzheimer's is progressing, but he said one of his biggest and most significant accomplishments and proud moments in his career has been fighting for the survivors of the Tulsa Race Massacre. And I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the elders who are standing with me today and who are in this audience, who's elevated and amplified their voices over the years fighting for justice. I see my father, a 2nd-generation descendant in the audience, Reverend Joey Crutcher. I see Mr. Dale Bright. I'm standing here with Margaret Love and Joyce Williams and so many others, and descendants like Joy McConaughey. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the continuous plight and fight through the years. And Martin Luther King said this: every generation has a responsibility to address the needs of its time. And we know you're tired. And so there's a new generation standing in solidarity with the survivors, with the elders, in a collective fight. Councilor Vanessa Hall-Harper, Representative Regina Goodwin, who's on the floor right now fighting for justice, a Mr. Greg Robinson, a Christy Williams, a Chief Amasan, a Candy Whitley White, and a baby lawyer who said that I wasn't gonna give up this fight, Demario Solomon Simmons. We stand here collectively in solidarity, sending a strong message to the city of Tulsa. We will not let you undermine our collective efforts. A resolution is simply an acknowledgement, but it is not a remedy, and it is not abatement. It is not abatement, and we will not let you define what abatement is for this community. We love our community, and we're gonna make note, and we want you all to make note of it. And so I want to just read a statement sent in by Representative Regina Goodwin, state representative, who's at the Capitol presently. The Tulsa Race Massacre and the ongoing harm should be addressed fairly. Today is a tenacious continuation of a righteous effort to see justice done in the courts that was begun by many, including the great-grandparents of James Henry and Carly Marie Goodwin 101 years ago. Today we stand with attorney Solomon Simmons and the Justice for Greenwood team and all who seek remedy for the perhaps more than 300 men, women, and babies murdered, the burning of some 1,256 homes, the destruction of hundreds of businesses, and the loss of generational wealth. The 101-year-old ongoing dialogue is simply awareness. We ask by God's grace that the court move beyond awareness to fairness. Abatement is just justice. Abatement is fairness. And may the judge provide remedies for, among the many notable others, Miss Viola Ford Fletcher, who will be 108 on May 10th, Mrs. Leslie Benningfield Randall, who is 107, and Mr. Hughes Van Ellis, 101 years old. And I end with this quote by James Baldwin. "You always told me it takes time. It has taken my father's time. It has taken my brother's time. It has taken my niece's time and my nephew's time. How much time do you want for your progress?" We have waited 101 years long for overdue justice. And together, we are still standing to see right done. And if God be for us, who can be against us? God is with us. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you all for being here. My name again is Vanessa Hall-Harper. I'm the District 1 City Councilor, and I want to get straight to the point. I wholeheartedly agree and support the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre survivors, Mother Randall, Mother Fletcher, and Uncle Red, affectionately known as. I also fully support the public nuisance lawsuit and the public nuisance abatement remedies that are provided in the Justice for Greenwood lawsuit. As a result, I will continue to work with Justice for Greenwood and help push for the abatement plan contained in the public nuisance lawsuit. I encourage all of you listening to support and attend the hearing scheduled at the Tulsa County Courthouse on May 2nd. That's this Tuesday. Monday, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm getting my dates mixed up. Tulsa County Courthouse, May 2nd, Monday at 1:30 p.m. Please come out and show your support. Now let me touch a little bit on the Beyond Apology program that we have. Beyond Apology is not, I repeat, is not a city initiative. It is a community initiative. The community raised the funds in order to have a community-led conversation and working sessions. The outcomes of the Beyond Apology is for the community and the decision makers to become educated on abatement remedies with the Justice for Greenwood case, our history, our work, and pathways to reparative policy actions. Beyond Apology will provide a safe space for community members to feel heard, understood, and understand the processes and the roles. The City of Tulsa's, again, the City of Tulsa's Equality Indicator Report points to the need to center policy explicitly to better position Black Tulsans who have been heavily impacted in the areas of economic opportunity, public health, housing, and justice. I want to make it clear that Beyond Apology is not just another conversation, but it is a high-level community engagement, educational process, which has been practiced by communities really and truly all over this country. Let me tell you why community engagement is just not another conversation. Community engagement is based on a strategic democratic process that everyone who is affected by an issue that impacts their community should have a say in decisions and policy making. That is your representation. It is very important to me that any solution regarding my community has to feel reparative to those in my community who are impacted. Therefore, any solutions, ideas, and concerns have to come from the people who are impacted, period. I ran on the mantra of my shero, Shirley Chisholm, unbought and unbossed. That means my community, my constituents, not the power structure in this city, will always take the lead on issues that impact them. We will not let white supremacy or black elitism tell us what the solutions are and who our leaders are. We say who our leaders are. As my friend Charles Wilkes shared with me, he said, Vanessa, black elitism described as black excellence has often been the cost of black advancement and has silenced black voices in Tulsa. Leadership isn't about position or who is standing in front. It's about service, and we're all serving up here, which is why my leadership style will always be infused with honesty and respect for individual voices through a democratic process. Some people call that leading from behind or participatory decision making. I call it being a true servant to my community. For too long, the voices of this community have been the afterthought and led by people who did what they thought was best for the community. I want my community to tell what they think is best and what they want to see. There is a collective genius in my community that often goes overlooked. Guess what? Those days are gone. All of the successes we have had in District 1 were birthed from community engagement, centered in participatory decision making. We recognize mutual goals, perspectives, uncovering values, sharing issues from different neighborhoods, co-creating knowledge, understanding, interdependencies, complexities, and plain good old-fashioned trust. We did that together. Again, this is why I did not want Beyond Apology to be a city initiative. And it is not, again, a city initiative. This is planned by the community and paid for by the community and will be executed by the community. To use Beyond Apology to discredit this case is nothing but one of the tricks played by white supremacy. And I'm not falling for it. None of us should fall for it. District 1, please stay tuned. The dates of the Beyond Apology will be coming soon. But at this moment, please come to the courthouse on May 2nd at 1:30 and stand in solidarity. Even if we go stand out in the court hallways, if the room is packed. We need this community, this state, this country to see where we stand, and that is in solidarity. Thank you.
My name is Greg Robinson. I'm the founder of Standpipe Hill Strategies, and I'm here today because I wrote the framework that is contained in the Beyond Apology program. And I'm also here because Beyond Apology and anything that I will ever do will always come in service to the injustice that has been done each and every day for the past 100 years since the 1921 Race Massacre Commission. And there is an incredible group of individuals that include my late father, that include my late mother, that include many of our ancestors that have gone before us, that deserve more than political tricks, particularly at this time. I come here to say that I am in 100% support, as I have always been, with the Justice for Greenwood movement and the lawsuit which so aptly communicates the public nuisance that has been ongoing and aptly provides public nuisance abatements for that harm. I also want to say that Beyond Apology as a conversation isn't a new thing. The survivors and the descendants long past had conversations. Don Ross and Senator Maxine Horner led conversations that led to recommendations. And unfortunately, because action has not been taken, we have to educate a new generation of those enduring the same injustices. And so let us not be confused about what beyond apology is. It is an unfortunate necessity to continue to educate our community and provide space for our community, to say frankly what the generations before us we know have already said, to say what is already laid bare in the lawsuit that is before the city of Tulsa now. What beyond apology isn't is not a get out of jail free card. You do not get to sign on at the last moment after 100 years of not doing anything, after 100 years of understanding the data, whether you want it to be quantitative or qualitative. You don't get to sign on to save yourself a little bit. And in fact, I would argue that the mere argument of that gets to the root of what is causing our issues. What's causing our issues here certainly isn't individuals fighting for justice. It's the same thing that caused the massacre in the first place. Racism. Racism. And so again, I stand here as the author of the Beyond Apology Framework, somebody who certainly does not work for the city of Tulsa, to ensure that it is abundantly clear that while we work and look forward to working in partnership with anyone who believes in justice for those massacre victims and their descendants, we are excited about that potential. But the reality is that there is a wrong that is yet to be righted, and that wrong is clearly being addressed by the very just lawsuit that has been brought against this city, county, and other players. So I will be there on May the 2nd at 1:30 in support. I hope that you all listening will be there as well. And then I look forward to having a collective conversation, educating ourselves once again, following the lead of descendants once again, and hopefully finally bringing some long overdue justice. Thank you.
I'm Dr. Janetta Marshall, Tulsa School Board representative, and one who has grown up in this community. I stand here today in solidarity. I stand here today knowing that we're standing on land that's steeped in pain. We're standing on land that is steeped in the blood of our ancestors. We're standing on land where we come and we have dialogue, we have conversations. We're standing on land that yet has not yielded a resolution and reparations for our ancestors. I stand here as a representative who has traveled, and we've had the dialogues and the conversation about the disparity. We've had the conversations about equity and equality, but conversations that have not yet yielded what is needed for those remaining ancestors who went through the turmoil of a race massacre. I stand here today to say that it is time out for just conversation, but it is time for resolution. I'm not going to repeat what my colleagues, my friends up here have stated, because you know what we're here for. But I'm going to stand here today and say thank you to Attorney Demario Solomon Simmons. Thank you to every race massacre survivor that yet stands today, that's yet living. I grew up under some of these people. I grew up under the stories and the testament of their character and what they survived. And I say today that justice for Greenwood must be a reality. And we are standing on the the shores of a victory. Because we have had and we have gained individuals like those standing here, like a Greg Robinson, like a Councilwoman Hall-Harper, like a Dr. Tiffany Crutcher, and like many of you that have come here. We are standing here saying that victory is on the horizon, and victory is steeped in more than just talk, but the reality that our ancestors are going to get what they deserve, that they don't have to die and other people just talk about it. They can realize it. There's once been said, "Give me my flowers while I yet live." Well, we say to the city of Tulsa, it's time to send your delivery of flowers to our ancestors, saying we are sorry and we want to see you rewarded before you close your eyes in death. So Tulsa, take note that your time is here. And we're not here to make you feel bad. We're not here for you to think that, well, we didn't do it just because our ancestors. We're here to say it was done, it was a reality, and now we're looking for the next reality. So when we're teaching the constructed curriculum to our children, the curriculum goes beyond what happened in 1921 to what is happening in 2022, and that is reparations. That is a resolution. Thank you.
Well, this morning I had an interview with NBC, and the reporter asked me, why am I hopeful for success and victory in our lawsuit? And when I stand here and feel the love and the power that's on this, standing here and out here, this is why I'm hopeful. This is why I feel good about our opportunity on Monday, May 2nd at 1:30 p.m. at courtroom 605. We all know that judges make decisions. I'm not a judge. I'm just going to be advocating the case. But I firmly believe that the law is on our side and the facts are on our side. I firmly believe that we have the best opportunity ever to move forward. And just so everyone is clear, at this hearing, what we're asking for is just the opportunity to prove what happened during the massacre. We still don't really know. We know maybe 5% of what actually happened during the massacre. We're asking for the opportunity to prove exactly what it takes to abate the nuisance that was created and the multiple nuisances that has spawned out of the original act in 1921. That is what we're asking for. The opportunity to prove, the opportunity to have dialogue and consultancy from experts from around this nation. We're talking about archaeologists, we're talking about psychologists, we're talking about medical doctors, economists, to come in and say, this is what it will take. Abatement is the legal term, but that just means to fix it. This is what it would take to fix it. So as my sister said, Dr. Marshall said, we're not talking about what happened. We're talking about what happened and what happened to fix it. White supremacy is powerful. And the greatest epitome of white supremacy is to acknowledge something has happened and yet refuse to fix it. Not on our watch. I'll leave you with this. One of our survivors, you know, I'm a child of Greenwood. As Doc said, a baby lawyer. I used to be a baby lawyer. I'm 20 years in this thing now. But as a baby lawyer, sitting at the feet of Charles Ogletree, sitting at the feet of Johnny Cochran, sitting at the feet of Willie Gary, sitting at the feet of Michelle Roberts, sitting at the feet of Jim Goodwin and Audrey Altor and Professor Eric Miller and all the attorneys that came here in the early 2000s to bring that lawsuit in federal court, learning from them, but then having an opportunity to represent over 150 living survivors, spending time with them, going back and forth to DC, listening to their stories, to now only have 3 survivors left. 3 out of the thousands that were impacted. We have 3 left. And I know we've heard their names again, but I love saying their names. Mother Viola Ford Fletcher, 107 years old, will be 108 May 10th. Mother Leslie Bennettfield Randall, 107 years old. And the baby brother, Hughes Van Ellis, Uncle Red, 101 years old. He was on that call with me this morning, this interview. And he told me, the interviewer, he said, we will be successful. Because we believe what Hal Singer, another survivor, told us, that regardless of the odds, obstacles, and opposition, we must fight for our rights and our dignity. We must fight for our rights and our dignity. Show up and fight with us. First Sunday night, May 1st from 6:30 to 7:30 at our prayer rally at Mount Zion, historic Mount Zion Baptist Church. And then show up and fight with us just with your body, just with your presence, just being there. You don't have to say anything. On Monday, May 2nd, 1:30, Tulsa Courthouse, room 605. Justice for Greenwood.
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 Thank you. Any questions? Take a few questions. Nope. Good. Thank you.
It's clear.